Well, hello. This is Pastor Trey. Hope we've got several people who are able to watch live. I wanted to go over just a couple of things regarding our decision that we posted earlier today to suspend our services. So I'm going to take just a couple of minutes and explain kind of what's going on, what to expect. And then after I do that, I would love to answer any questions you might have, see if I can be helpful in that way. So I'll begin just by reiterating what we already shared. The deacons and I met last night, met through a video chat, and had a lengthy discussion and decided that we would suspend all of our services in gathering services, meeting together for the rest of March. So that encompasses 2 Sundays and, of course, several events and Bible studies and gatherings as well. That decision wasn't an easy decision to make. A lot of factors that went into that, including what's safe for the people of our church, what we think is most God-honoring for our community and the people in our community, and really just a lot of difficult conversations. I think all of us were disappointed to have to come to that conclusion. But I think it's the right one. And so what that means is the next 2 Sundays, there won't be anyone physically at the church during worship. That it includes not just Sunday morning worship, but also small groups. It includes all meetings that may have been previously scheduled, Bible studies that were previously scheduled, private parties, if there are any scheduled there as well. We just be closed. That doesn't mean the church is closed, and we're going to talk about that as well. Towards the end of the month of March, we're going to reevaluate kind of the standing of where everything's at and decide what to do going forward. But for sure, through March 31st, that's the decision we've come to. So the question is going to be, what does it look like then? Certainly, that doesn't mean church stops, and I by no means want us to think that the church is just not having activities for 2 weeks. So primarily what that will look like on Sunday mornings is that we will be streaming a service at 10:45 like we do every week. It will look a little bit different. We're going to probably use previously recorded music, and I'll explain that at the beginning of the service. It will be a fresh message. I'm preparing a sermon for Sunday. It will not be a recycled sermon, but the music will probably be pre-recorded. The message may actually be pre-recorded as well, but it will be pre-recorded this week. And we'll gather together online for worship. There's 2 ways that you can access our online services. One is through YouTube, and the other is through Facebook. Both we've made really easy to find. If you want to watch on YouTube, you just go to live.fbcrobinson.com. If you want to get to our Facebook page at any time, you can just do FB for Facebook. The advantage to each of those is on YouTube, you don't have to have a YouTube account or any sort of account to watch that. You can pull that up whether you have an account anywhere or not. But you have to specifically go to that website to find it. Facebook, it's nice because it just pops up in your feed. But of course, if you don't have a Facebook account, that's a little harder to watch it, or impossible to watch it on Facebook without a Facebook account. So you can use either one of those. What I like about the YouTube stream and am going to encourage you to do is if you're able to put that on your TV screen so that your whole family can see it at once. It beats kind of holding a device in front of you and all huddling around it. It makes it a little more difficult to worship. So on YouTube, if you have a Roku or an Apple TV or a Chromecast or some sort of device that lets you stream it to your television, you can do that through YouTube, which is really nice. You've seen several people last week that actually were able to do that. And I'm happy to help through a phone call or a video chat to kind of help you set that up and figure out how to get that on your TV screen. So more difficult to do And so what I think the best thing to do with our Sunday school classes and small groups is just to say that they're called off. However, for our adult classes especially, if you can figure out a way to reach out to your class somehow, either through video chat or through a Facebook Live during Sunday school time, or possibly phone calls, I would encourage you to do that. I know our class, Cornerstone, is planning on doing a Facebook Live Sunday school this coming Sunday. We're going to talk about that in our Cornerstone Facebook group. We've got a couple of other Sunday school classes, and if you're a Sunday school teacher and want to know how I might help you set that up, I'd love to do that. Thing about Facebook or streaming is you want to make sure it's interactive. It's kind of stale if you're just sitting there and talking to a computer screen. So really, we're just going to kind of leave that up to the classes. But I think it's safe to assume, unless you hear from your teacher directly, if you have an adult Sunday school class, that there's just not going to be small groups for the next 2 weeks. Obviously, it's even harder to do with our children and our youth. So there won't be any streaming. As a matter of fact, I think it goes against our new regulations at our church to directly contact children. So there won't be any Facebook Live for our children or anything like that. But I'm thankful that talking with Hannah, she's said she's going to help me develop, I'll call them talk sheets for families. And so I'm excited that she's willing to help out with that. We're going to put together just maybe reading some scripture together as a family and some questions. Really, you'll become the Sunday school teacher for your family. And this isn't just for kids or for youth. If you're a husband and wife, it may be good for you guys to do together too. It's not a specific age. So Hannah's going to help me put those together. We'll make sure those are sent out digitally as early as we get them together, so you can look those over. They won't need any prep work. It'll just be read the passage together, ask a few questions, and those talk sheets are going to be based off of our Cornerstone curriculum. We're doing Bible studies for life through Lifeway. And so we're just kind of developing that into a simple question and answer type format, so that you can have a conversation with your kids. Don't neglect small groups. So you can have a conversation with your husband and wife together, with your family together. We want to make sure that everyone's able to dig in a little bit deeper. As far as Wednesday nights go, our fundraiser tomorrow night obviously is canceled. We weren't going to have services at the church anyways. We were going to go down to the movie theater and use that as a fundraiser for our mission camp. Let me share that tomorrow night there won't be anything streamed. We're just canceling that. There's a lot to put together for tomorrow night. But starting next Wednesday night, I will be streaming at 6:30, very similar to this, an interactive Bible study. So hopefully, if you're on Facebook, you can leave comments and interact. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be asking questions and hoping people interact with me on that. We can have a time doing that. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll share with you how you can use the FBC announcement texts to send in some interactive questions or maybe some thoughts that we can share as well. And so that'll start not tomorrow night, but next Wednesday night. And then if we need to miss any other Wednesday nights, we'll continue doing that as well. The church offices will be closed through the month of March. Even if you see vehicles there, Melissa or I or maybe others may need to pop in for a few minutes to do some things, but the doors are going to be locked and we're not taking walk-in traffic. We're asking that if you need to get a hold of us, you call the church office and leave a message. Monday through Thursday, which is our normal office days, we'll be checking that throughout the day. Melissa's going to check that probably about 2-hour intervals. So you can leave a message if you need to get a hold of somebody. If you have an emergency, you can try to get a hold of me directly or one of our deacons. Most of you have my phone number, and if you don't, you can find it in our church directory, as well as all of our deacons and their phone numbers as well. If you don't have a copy of our church directory, you can actually get that online as well. If you'll go to our website, fbcrobinson.com/directory, you can download or view, not download, but view our church directory. It requires a password to access. But here in just a few minutes, if you'll leave me a comment or send me a message or somehow let me know, I will get that password to you. It's not a secret. It's just kind of something we keep from the whole world having access to that. But anybody who attends our church, I would love to give you the password to that directory so that you can know how to contact us if there is an emergency. Please, 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 if you have not already, subscribe to our text announcements. You can get announcements from our church all the time, but especially in this strange time. And if you haven't signed up for them, just text at FBCROB to 81010. If you've never used the Remind system before, that's what the program is called. It may ask you a couple of questions about if you're a teacher, a student, or a parent. It doesn't matter what you reply. Just choose one, get set up, and then you'll start receiving text messages from the church. And we're going to use that as a way to send out updates on what's going on. Also, what's great about that is it is two-way. So if you want to text it back, you can, and it pops up and comes straight to me. So if you've got questions, you can text that number once you get signed up, and I'll be able to see that. That's also what we'll use for some interaction with our Bible studies on Wednesday nights and other times. If you're not on Facebook, you can send a text message in through that, and I'll be checking that as well. So some things you can do to help us out, because we are going to be online exclusively for the next couple of weeks. I'm very aware that there are some in our church who are not tech savvy or don't have access to internet or Wi-Fi at their house. And I do not want this to be a time where they just miss church for 2 weeks. So we have a couple of things we're trying to get together to do to help with that. But the best way you can help is if you have a family member who you know you're interacting with already anyways, and they don't have a way to watch the stream, if you can take it on yourself and make it a priority to check in with them, maybe go to their house and sit with them for worship, or bring them to your house and sit with them for worship. A lot of you have parents or grandparents who will need some help. If you can be that help to them, that would be great. If there are some families that just don't have that option, we're going to burn DVDs of the service and try to get those out. And so we're in the process of kind of making a list of who might need those. If you know someone who will need them, you can let me know that as well. Again, I think the best thing, though, is to get together at 10:45 and watch it together. So if you can get together as a family, that is ideal. And that's what we're hoping that you'll do. Something really important, and I'm going to take questions here in just a moment. I've not been following the chat. I'll scroll through, but something really important to me is that Sunday morning doesn't become just background noise in our house. Gung-ho and set up the live stream and put it up, or maybe pull it up on your phone or on your TV, gather around, and then go business as usual in your house. So popping in and out and doing laundry and all the things that you would normally do if you're at home. Please don't do that. We need to make church a priority, even though we're at our houses together. And so set aside that time for worship. That is going to be the time that we are gathering together as a church, maybe not physically together, but we're gathering together as a church at 10:45 to worship. Make it focused. I know you'll have kids running around, and maybe you have little ones who we don't have a nursery for, and so you're chasing them. But the best that you can make it a focused time of worship, the better. And not only that, I'm going to ask that maybe you can help us be interactive a little bit. We're going to ask you to take pictures of your family worshiping together and post them to social media and use the hashtag FBCRLive. I'll share an example of that here closer to Sunday, what that might look like. But we would love to see our church family worshiping together even though we're separated. So during the service, I'll even remind you, if you get a chance, just snap a quick picture of your family, watching the live stream, worshiping together, and then we'll all share that so we can know we're not in this alone. We're still gathered together, even though we're distant. So those are things that are really important to me. The last thing I want to share is something I don't even really love sharing a ton about. I don't want to focus on the giving, but the habit is going to be that when we're not meeting together, we're not giving. And we want to make sure that's not the case. We would encourage you to continue giving your tithes and offerings, and you can do that one of two ways. One, you can mail that into the church, and so you can get the church mailing address and mail your tithe in, or you can give online at fbcrobinson.com/give. You can do that at any point. Now, this may be a time that you start your online giving and create an account and kind of have a repetitive way to give that way. We're going to do some things to cut some costs during this time. Maybe utility-wise, we won't be using as much. But ministries are still going on, right? We're still planning for a Bible school this summer. There's still a curriculum that has to be ordered. There's still people that are going to need help that we're going to want to be able to give to. And the Lord has blessed us with the opportunity to have the ability to continue on as a church, even when we're not physically meeting together. But we need you to continue contributing as well. So I would encourage you to remember that and think about that, and don't neglect serving your church in that way. There's going to be lots of opportunities for service in the future. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping that we're going to have the opportunity to serve our community and share the love of Christ with our community through giving and through helping. And certainly our own church folks, we want to do that too as well. So that's all the announcements that I have necessarily, but would love to pause and maybe take some questions. If you're wondering of some things, how things might work. If you missed something, I can share it again. And so I'll pause just a little bit and see if anybody has any questions that they may want to share. But I know I don't answer everything, so somebody's right. All right. Well, if there are no questions, I'm not going to make you sit here and look at my face all night long. I love you guys. This has been a hard cut prayers going forward. I want you to know that that I'm thinking of you guys often, and it's been some difficult decisions that are made, but I'm excited to see how God's going to grow us together through this. So if you have questions, again, you can leave comments down here. You can text the Remind text group, the announcement text group. Praying for you guys and can't wait to worship with you on Sunday. Thanks.